success on one side, but emotional emptiness and lack of freedom within. I reached these points and these targets with a very rotten foundation within, based on fear and scarcity. Like, I identified myself and life with external things in order to cover up the emptiness. I dropped myself in the ocean. Meanwhile, we were cruising, and I gave up the control of life.
Welcome back to another episode of Limitless. I'm very excited today to be actually in Phuket, Thailand. I have a guest with me today, someone who is a former professional footballer, someone who's played at the absolute highest level of professional football in Europe. And we're going to talk today, of course, about the rise to the top of the sport, but also all the other parts that come with it, the fame, the pressure, and also we're going to dig into and explore his childhood. We're also going to talk about the journey afterwards, after the professional career. And finally, we're going to look into his life today and also eventually the limitless life that lies ahead for him. We have just come off our training with Set Coaching Phuket today, and it's my honor to welcome our guest to Limitless today, Christian Lell from Munich. Welcome.
Nick, thank you. It's a pleasure being here, meeting you, training with you. Looking forward for this wonderful interview, hopefully.
Yeah, so let's start there. What brought you to Phuket, Thailand?
Yeah, that's a good question. Not easy to answer very quickly, but I'll try to make it short. In December last year, I decided all of a sudden to race an Ironman. And a friend of mine told me and asked me, Christian, do you know Jürgen Seck? And I said, no, not really. Why should I? I said, well, I mean, if you apply for an Ironman, you should definitely know Jürgen Seck. So what did I do? I Googled Jürgen. And obviously then it was pretty clear for me to get in contact with Jürgen Seck and trying to get a training camp with him. And now it's March, so 2.5 months later, here we go. I'm training with Jürgen Seck, with you, with a lot of other nice athletes and people around the world. And yeah, that's a bit the story, why I'm here in Phuket, in this wonderful, nice island.
Excellent, and that's why I had the pleasure of meeting you, because I'm also a member of that group, and that Jürgen runs, Set Coaching Phuket, for anyone who's listening, is a triathlon group. We swim, we cycle, and we run. So what does a typical day look like for you here?
Yeah, as you said, like for me, running wasn't like something what I needed to really learn. Actually, as a runner, many kilometers in my life as a soccer player, of course, but cycling and swimming especially were two disciplines where I add on in my daily rhythm since about now 2 weeks almost. So the day looks like training in the morning, recover during the sessions, having the second session. So it reminds me a little bit on the daily rhythm when I was an athlete back then. On the pitch was the same. We trained in the early morning, had the recovery, and most of the time a second training. So yeah, I feel a little bit back in time how it was when I was an athlete, as on the pitch as a soccer player.
Fantastic, and I've had the pleasure of joining some of the trainings. I can see you're in absolutely excellent shape and form. So how important is it for yourself now in your life to look after yourself and train and so on?
Well, it was I stopped playing soccer about 10 years ago already, so time flies. But I never lost the connection to sports in a way. Not as deep and as much as an athlete, obviously, but I always was doing something. And as I told you, in December last year, so many things happened in the last 4 or 5 years in my life to brought me in the position in order to reflect a little bit and say, how would it feel if I dig in again in the mindset of an athlete? So yeah, it was a bit of this being excited of trying to get back on track, not just physical way, also mentally. And those both combinations together, literally brought me in this situation. And I'm trying to race in December this year for an Ironman. And that's why, I try and when I see you guys every day, like on the bike, in the water, running, there's no way back not having a mindset like an athlete anymore. It has so much nice side effects in the normal life as well. Maybe we dig in later on for that.
Absolutely. And before we're coming back to where it all started, you said you're going to do an Ironman this year, or?
Yeah, this year on 5th of December in Oman.
Fantastic. Well, all the best for the training and the race, and we'll definitely follow you then. And let's then go back to where it all started, Christian, back in Munich. I just want to hear a little bit about your childhood. How was it growing up in Munich for you?
Yeah, my childhood was, I would say, it could have been in a way a bit more easy and smooth, if you can say like that. It was more surrounding of lots of drama and traumas. So there were many conflicts in my family where, in that moment, I not really realized it as I was a child, obviously. I thought that's a normal surrounding, being raised in chaos and dramas. But then later on, obviously, I understood that it was different, that it should have been. And anyways, the childhood was, I didn't realize that it was sad, but at the end it was really sad. It was challenging me as a child.
Is there anything you are comfortable to share about the challenges that you were going through at home then?
Yeah, we can speak about that. We can do this. Let's say it that way. My parents had it not really easy, as my sister was born with mucoviscidose, which is an illness. Back then there was no way to heal this issue, this illness, and so there was a lots of tension in our family, because on one side my parents were overwhelmed with the situation of my sister, and I would say back then, if I reflect on this, they also had their own challenges still, so they didn't make their healing and their inner work in their age. So there were coming a couple of components together, which brought us in a situation where lots of tension was there. So then focus was more on my sister, and I was challenging my things by myself, and and you can imagine everyone, even your listeners, knows there are lots of challenges when we are young, and somehow we go through that challenges. Question is how we go through, and how does it condition our mind, our system, our belief systems. And it can be loving, caring, hopeful, being having enough self-esteem, or also the other way around, having anxious and doubts and being worried about life and all that stuff. So I would say, in my case, even if it not looks like, if you look at my career as a professional athlete and later on as an entrepreneur, you might think, okay, there's a boy, there's a guy who is lots of self-esteem and trust, but the opposite was the case. And so to make it a little bit shorter, the childhood was very dramatic, ups and downs. There were no consistency emotional-wise. But overall, somehow I managed to find a vision, to find an anchor, and in order to accelerate and get out of what I have experienced as a child.
And as you were going through those challenges as a child, when did football come into your life, and what role did it play during that time?
Yeah, pretty early. I remember I was like 5. I would say 5 or 6, where I felt that this round thing is not just to play around, so there's some more passion from my side behind, hunting the ball and kicking the ball. So it was pretty early, with 5 or 6. And what made it so beautiful in my case, whenever I went to the training already in that age, I had this structure around me all of a sudden. I had people who looked at me. We were in the team, right? You had like a consistency, what I haven't had at home. And that was like, I was diving in two worlds. The home was chaos, and then in the soccer with the teammates, they were kind of regulated, nice, harmonic life. And it was very early, with 5-6 years, I started to play soccer. Yeah.
And how were you as a young player? Were you talented right from the start, or was it?
Well, I started at a very little club in Munich, my hometown, but pretty quick. I remember when I started getting in school with 8 years, already Bayern Munich was scouting. Back then, imagine, they already scouted young boys or kids, and they had the opinion that I'm not that bad. So they said, this guy is maybe okay, let's try to get him from this little club to us. And yeah, obviously I took the chance. My parents were divorced already in this time of my life, but my mother, they were never questioned, are you going to do it or not? It's just like, it was clear I do it. And nothing could stop me to not take this chance. Again, it was, for me, it was the anchor in my life, soccer. The red line to get out of drama. So I never asked myself, was it the right decision? Should I have done? No, this was never in my mind. It was clear. I become a soccer player. I remember pretty well when I was 7 or 8, around that age, that I put all the pictures from the famous soccer players in my room on the walls and the ceilings, and I had this dream: I gonna be a professional soccer player one day, no matter what. Yeah, so it started very early, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. So it sounds like when you were in a team, you had a structure around you that you were lacking at home. You saw the picture, and you had a clear vision ahead of yourself, even to become a professional football player one day. What age were you at that time?
When I visualized it so clearly, I was around 7 or 8, which is pretty interesting. As where does it come from, right? Either my dad nor my mother really forced me to get and being a soccer player. So it just somehow developed within and wanted to get realized in the field. Yeah.
And how much do you think that kind of vision that you had then impacted you as the years to come into the teenage years and so on as a football player?
A lot of impact. When I look back now in my life, and now I'm 41, and after my career I became an entrepreneur and I run a real estate company in Germany with almost 50 employees working together with me. And the pattern is always the same, at least in my life. Once you set up a clear intention, there is actually no questioning of how I get there. Do I quit? I mean, the same as you make triathlon, or other athletes or entrepreneurs. Or actually everyone. Once we really set up a clear intention based from the heart, everyone is unstoppable. Yeah, so it was even then the teenage time where, of course, my other teammates in the class, they started making party and this and that, smoking and all that stuff. What usually teenage people doing, there were no distraction because I was just focused. Obviously, then you see in the teenage age, you got more talent. You have the possibility to really get up to the professional level, and that accelerate then the motivation on that point on top. But so in the age of 15, 16, I would say that was another turning point, because then you could really literally smell the pitch of the professionals, and then it was so close, and it pushed me even more to train harder, to do more, to be even more focused and disciplined. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that during those teenage years, when your friends were out partying, testing cigarettes and alcohol and all these things, you were fully focused on your training, and it sounds like it paid off, because one day you became a professional footballer then with Bayern Munich. Maybe you can take us to that day. Do you remember when it happened?
Yes, I remember so well. I got a call from the manager of the club, which is Uli Hoeneß. He's really a legend in Germany, most probably worldwide. Everyone knows him in this soccer industry. And he called me and said, "Christian, can you come to my office?" Well, and I played a well season already, and we were with the semi-professionals on the top of the table, so it was pretty clear what he wanted to tell me. I was really excited and happy on one side, and on the other side, it was not super surprising, as I already manifested it and visualized it the years ago. So it just literally entered than what I already was trained for. But I will never forget that moment anyways, because then it's reality, right? You sit there on the table, he's offering you the first professional contract, and it was not just special because it was a professional contract, it was also special because Bayern Munich is the team of my hometown. So I was born and raised, and then I literally made it up to them. So yeah, beautiful. I always look back with a big smile.
Yeah, fantastic. I can feel your positive energy. So what emotions and feelings went through you at that time?
Oh, it was like, it was like really kind of, right, from my family side, we were like, we had a always pretty simple and easy life. We never had lots of money or luxury kind of things. And signing this contract back then made me a warm feeling in a way that I understood. Okay, there was a lot of effort I put in for lots of time, but now there is also a nice possibility to give back to my mom. To accelerate a little bit a more easy life, let's say, in that way. And when I say easy, I mean less stress and less anxiety and doubts about the future. So that was really, it was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah. And then looking at your career, how long did it last, and what was the highest moment of your football career?
Yeah, I was playing on the professional side then about 12 years. 12 years, so I won a couple of titles with Bayern Munich. We played Champions League. Many highlights. Yeah, the titles, obviously, with Bayern Munich I won, playing in the Champions League, comparing with Cristiano Ronaldo, with Lionel Messi, with all the top players from the last, let's say, 3 decades. I was in competition, and that was, now looking back to that time, it was, amazing. It was really amazing. It's like, if you see Cristiano Ronaldo, he might hit 1,000 goals in his career. Lionel Messi has an outstanding career, and I was with them, like, kind of, in a way. And it made me a bit proud, to be honest, but in a very humbled way. Yeah.
And if we're looking on outside the professional sport, then how was life at that time?
See, the success I had in soccer, and even actually after soccer as an entrepreneur, I hit a very good wave on real estate sector after Lehman Brothers in 2008. At least in Germany, the plot prices and the real estate prices, they went up without limit, limitless kind of. And I was in that wave, and I was in the wave in soccer as well, pretty well, because I was surrounded from super good teammates: Frank Ribery, Luca Toni, Oliver Kahn, Lucio, Philipp Lahm, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, and so on. So you can imagine my team I was covered by was super good. So also that wave was pretty successful. But now comes the point. External success, what many people would say if they look on my career, wow, it's pretty successful. But actually, I reached these points and these targets with a very rotten foundation within, based on fear and scarcity. And so, if you ask me, and you ask me how was the life a part of the pitch and after playing soccer, it was pretty not really emotional stable. So I couldn't handle the success I had, the money I had, the fame I had. Now I understand why I couldn't handle it. But in that moment, I not even understood that at the end, I'm struggling, even I have success. In that moment, I couldn't reflect that I was just in that wave. But looking back, it was really, it was a mess, an emotional mess, let's say. Success on one side, but emotional emptiness and lack of freedom within. Mm-hmm. So these two worlds came together.
Yeah. And how did you deal with those emotions then? Did you have any professional support, or how did you let that out?
Yeah, it was at the end, I let it out in all what you can imagine: external watches, cars, villas, yachts, travels, whatever you can imagine. Like I identified myself and life with external things in order to cover up the emptiness. What went always bigger and bigger as more success I had, as more I realized, okay, but what is that? Why I won the title and why I'm home now and I'm not even can enjoy that I'm reached what I was looking for over 15 years since I was a child. So, but I couldn't really get an answer to that. So I searched the next project, the next car, the next house, the next whatever it was, in order to keep the dopamine kicks in this wheel. But I wasn't ready to reflect because I thought that's life. So I thought identifying myself externally and giving myself dopamine kicks, that's life. That's why we're here. So that I couldn't reach to the point to reflect, is there more? Till a certain point in my life. And that changed everything.
And at this time then, there was no coaches, therapists or so involved perhaps in the sport back then. Now with the most of the teams and players, they will have that emotional support. A lot have been done in the space of mental health and emotional health, but we're going back some years. How was it then?
Yeah, it wasn't the awareness of the dimension of consciousness wasn't really as clear as now. So now if you speak about emptiness, about sadness, even though you're successful, so-called successful, there are more ways to find the solutions to get out of it because people are aware of it. And there's nothing where you need to hide it anymore, need to be scared of not getting seen well anymore. But back then, there were not even a thought of, or can I be like, can I show my weak side? Or it would immediately get turned in a corner and would be out of the game, right? But nowadays I have the feeling that it changed a little bit, step by step. Back then, but in my case, I not even was on the point to say I need to change or I have to reflect, because look, on one side, I was conditioned that what I did in the past was right, it gave me success. So why should I start to reflect my behaviors, my belief systems, my emotions and feelings? Because they gave me the security where I was hunting for. There were no reason to really reflect. So in my case, I needed to hit the rock bottom after I was seeing the all-time high, let's say. And the rock bottom then later on was the turning point in my life, where I was in a way forced from life to start to reflect and let go my beliefs from the past.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Christian. And I can just reflect myself during my corporate career, the successes and all the promotion, more money and everything that came with that, the chauffeurs, the cars, the villas and everything. I had it all until I hit the peak, and that's when I started to question myself. I think at the highest point of my life, when I had it all, that's when I started to fall. And I just remember my mindset those days, because in my office, we were lending out one of our meeting rooms to one of the 12-step recovery programs. And inside there would be 15 people who are talking about the alcohol problems they have. And I remember walking past that office door a few times a week thinking, oh, those poor buggers who cannot handle the alcohol. So that's the level of denial I was in, that I had the problem. I also wasn't exposed to that from my parents, my family and my community. And it sounds like you had a similar experience then in your professional sport, and you had to be holding it through, be a tough boy and don't show any weakness is what I'm hearing.
Exactly. 100%. Not just that, it's like the success confirmed my way of thinking, and why should I change something? Even there are like impulsive behaviors, even there are like discussions with few people here and there. Why should I? I was successful, so the way I'm thinking and what I doing was totally right. I was thinking for a long time.
We're going to come to your rock bottom moment in a while, if you are comfortable sharing. But before we go there, was there some consequences that started to happen during this time? And can you give us some examples of what was it a pattern that started to happen outside the pitch?
Actually, the identification with everything externally was, in my reflection now, if I'm looking back, it was the trap. as I identified my life with everything external, but not with me and myself and my peace and my free. I not even knew that peace, or I not even knew that freedom was existing, because I was thinking that what is waiting behind that door is what I'm looking for, and then I opened the door and I got what, and I got confirmed. So the concept of real freedom within, I was not even aware that this is existing. So literally I overpaced myself and looking for new projects, new secure and financial stuff, more revenue. Parallel-wise to my soccer career, I already started the development of real estates, and it was always external stuff where I seek for validation. And where should that end at the end? I know that now, but in that moment, there were no other option. That's life for me. And yeah.
And if you're thinking back on those moments, all those side projects you had going for you, did it impact your performance on the pitch? And if you didn't have that, and if you have found yourself, do you think you would have performed at an even higher level as a professional footballer?
Yeah, I was thinking here and there about this, obviously, but we don't know. Most probably, yes. Obviously, if you have less stress, if you're more centered, and if you look more within, you elevate your power and your potential, and all the performance get better automatically. So for sure, yes, but as we can't turn time back, it's how it is. And the good thing is, as more aware you get, at least that's my experience, you're looking back and be really grateful for everything what happened in the past, even if we're very hard things, but all of them, at the end, they make us to that person, that character as we are right now. So I never look back and really dive deep into that questions. I'm already happy playing against Messi and Ronaldo and had a couple of titles, so it's okay.
And you should be. Congratulations for that. And we're moving now towards your rock bottom moment here. I want to ask you about that. And just first, I want to see, did it happen during your football career, or was it after your football career?
No, it was after. It was about 10 years after.
Okay.
Yeah, after the career, I started to be an entrepreneur and hit a very good wave, as I said before, with Lehman Brothers. So the real estate prices went up, like really limitless. And but then all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, it changed. So the wave stopped, and I couldn't really find a way and a solution to secure my holding. And that was like really a bit stressful, as I was used, and as you know as well, as an entrepreneur and businessman, we always find solutions for everything, and there's no problem, and so on. But that was so challenging to me, the situation, that I couldn't find any solution over about 2-3 years. So I dived into a depression, and I was forced to face the truth that there's so much more in life than any success externally. But it was one of the most hardest times in my life, really, to get to the point to not just understand, but even allow your system, your subconscious mind, to surrender and first time in life, trust life and not trying to get trust through doing something externally. And that was a transition within, which took 2.5 years. On one point I decided, listen, Chris, where should that go into? Like, you could, like, maybe you find, if you really squeeze it somehow, another solution. And then what's happening in 10 years? So on one point I decided I surrender. I let go of my belief systems. And I went in over 2 years almost being alone and really started to face all my demons and all my thoughts and belief systems where I built it up over 40 years. Yeah, 35 years, let's say.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Christian, this was 10 years after your professional career. And what I understand is that after your professional career, you became an entrepreneur, you had success there, and suddenly it hit the wall. Yeah. And how was that fall when that happened? Did you lose it all overnight, or was it a gradual fall?
Yeah, it was kind of fall overnight, as the circumstances in the market changed overnight. So the revenue stopped, and then and I was like trying somehow to secure it and find solutions, but it wasn't like, it was a market who just changed. You can't, I wasn't able to find that solution. So this time, then that's what I wanted to say. That was the transition time in my mind to get forced to surrender, because there's nothing to do. So you need to come in a state of acceptance. And before, at the beginning, I said, like, you could take so many good things from being an athlete and the mindset of being an athlete to the normal life. And one of it is not just the discipline, it's the acceptance of the situations and the circumstances, how they are. And it's also a bit a trap from being soccer, because in soccer, or as an athlete, you learn technically with more discipline, with more effort, with more willpower, with more resilience, and now you will reach a certain point of target. But in real life, I would say nowadays, actually it's the opposite. If you let go and accept the situation, then the unaccepted can end and life can surprise you. So, yeah, that's a bit one of the biggest lessons I took with me.
So here you are at your rock bottom. You have lost a lot of money, a lot of possessions, and you are forced to face yourself. And if you go back to that moment, then what was the most difficult for you at that time?
Well, the most difficult is, look, if you're in this state of being that you're hunting confirmation externally, so then what you really do, or what I really did, was avoiding facing the potential of getting rejected. So the most hard, but also the most powerful part of the healing and the inner work was giving life, people, circumstances the chance to get rejected in order to know where you stand and make place and space for things or people who can enter then with the real values and the ones who like you as you are, and not because you are this or that. And that was a really hard challenge to also, of course, many people left my life, and many people I also left them. But it is painful on one side, and the other side it's a really cleaning, healing journey. But it requires the will to change.
And if I'm looking at myself, my fall then involved a lot of alcohol, a lot of bars, failing at jobs, jumping, pushing everyone I loved away, filing for a divorce, separated from my son in 3 years. What was your main problem then? As we spoke before, I understand you spent some time in Ibiza as well. What happened there?
Well, in Ibiza is my second home, and an island where I'm very well hardly connected to. But it was an angel and devil at the same time. There's so much peace on the island, but there's also so many possibilities to party. And then if you live on a yacht, and then when you're like everything is successful business-wise, it was hard to resist the possibilities of parties and what comes with it, as drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. So for me, this lifestyle, this rockstar lifestyle, wasn't really helpful to start a reflecting and healing journey. The opposite, it pulled me more away from my inner center till the moment, as we spoke, I hit the rock bottom, and then even that I started to let go. And obviously, as you make your healing and inner work, you get more aware, and automatically you have a more healthy lifestyle, and you let things behind. But yeah, the Ibiza, the party life, the rockstar life, it had me for at least 5 to 7 years.
And I read an article online also that mentioned that you even had some suicidal thoughts during that time. Is that something that you can share?
Yeah, it was a moment in my life where we've been on my yacht we were cruising from Formentera to Ibiza, and I looked at the people on the boat, and I was like, it was that kind of moment, many people know that, I guess, where you think, what I'm doing here, what is going on? That's not me anymore. So kind of I decided to give life to a higher intelligence, if you want to say. If there's something more, I was asking, then take me and show me. I want to see it. And I dropped myself in the ocean. Meanwhile, we were cruising, and I gave up the control of life in order to see what is going on there. Yeah, I wanted to experience. Is there something? And if yes, what is it? And what is life still holding for me? Luckily and happy, I'm very grateful for that I'm still sitting here and have this wonderful opportunity of experience life in this human body, and can now inspire people also to remind themselves who they truly are, in order not to see the life as dark as I saw it on a certain point in my life.
And thank you, Christian, for sharing that moment here. And if there's any listener who is listening to this and they are at that stage where they're questioning, am I in the right crowd? Am I here? Is there something more there? What advice would you give to those people?
Oh gosh, of course. You are right. You are right here on this planet. Otherwise you wouldn't be here. You make that choice to experience this wonderful life. Of course, everything and everyone is here to, in a way, challenge us and to improve us and to set our soul free from all these distractions we collect all over the years, and we get saying from externally what we have to do and what is important in life. But it's so beautiful that you're here on this wonderful journey, and there's always a way out. And I think you and me, we are examples, actually. You as well, with your stories, if you don't mind,
Please.
if you don't mind. Yeah, actually, when I hear your story, as we met like a week and a half ago, and when you told me your story and the rock bottom and all what you experienced in life, in a way, even though I made my healing for many years now, and I see life in a complete different angle now, you're inspiring me, because it's always nice to share, in a way, the same life stories in order to build up a potential together and inspire people. They're maybe currently in the same situation we have been years ago, and there is a way out. Absolutely, there is, and that's what you said a couple of minutes ago. Nowadays, and this is something what really made me emotional, because when I went in silence for over 2 years, almost being alone, and developed meditations and really examined myself. I was a bit scared still to go out with my story, in order how does people react on when you show your weakness. And you are the perfect example, maybe I am as well, that once you really show and you go in your fear, out of fear you can just get when you go through, not around and showing the weakness, the opposite happened. People open up their heart, they're really helping and support you. And that's when you ask me, what would you tell to someone out there? I would say, like, share your emotions, open up your heart, don't be scared of being weak. It's just the ego what tried to hold you back and holding off the facade and the mask what we all are playing everywhere, because we think we have to do it society-wise. Actually, it's the complete opposite. And we as a society, it's my feeling, we are ready that people can open up their heart again. And we welcome them. You and me the same.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And I was in my shell sort of 3-4 years. It took losing a friend of mine to suicide for me to open up. I had a story in me. I was recovering, but I was terrified of being found out. What if someone find out that I went through those challenges? And I had these, even at my rock bottom, I tried to put on a smile. So it's very hard to figure out who is in that space, is what I find. Could people know when you were in those 2 years when you were silent, you isolated?
Yeah, this is a good question. I know it's a good question. Not really. I gave signs, but not really signs. I mean, being a Dom Perignon ambassador in Ibiza after the season, spending millions for Dom Perignon and not even drinking alcohol, in my opinion, it's already a sign. Yeah, or I don't know, like all these crazy behaviors. It's already a sign in a way. But again, you encounter people and circumstances and your own communities just in the deepest level as you are in that specific moment. So I was surrounded from people who lived that life as well. So why would they question and say, hey, there's something wrong? So it's a bit like your story. I cover it up with a smile or with the next project or bigger, whatever it was. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that party lifestyle, alcohol, drugs, and everything else that comes with it, what role does that play in your life today?
Well, no role at all. That's a very nice side effect from the triathlon also now, I would say. But I mean, I let all that behind years ago already. The only thing what I still carry on with me is music. Yeah. Who follows my channels and who is with me knows I love playing piano. I love creating accords, melodies, and listening. I mean, my day starts with music and ends with music. So that's the only thing what I still took out of this, let's say, rock star life. Yeah. The rock star life brought me to the rock bottom. I never said that, but it just crossed my mind, right? But in a way, and your life the same most probably, if we wouldn't hit that rock bottom, I'm not sure if I would still be here, to be honest. Because where would it end? Where would that end? Yes.
Yeah, and if you're thinking back at that time, also then the party, the drugs, the alcohol, the music you carry with you. So you surrendered the alcohol and drugs. There's quite a few people listening to this podcast who are sober or working on sobriety. Are you completely sober these days, or
Yes.
you have the occasional social drink? Or
No. So drinking was never something where I was related to, and I let everything behind. I mean, that's maybe a bit kind of this athlete mindset. You do it all or nothing, and when you go for it, you go for it. And yeah, it was a part of my life. I look back not just with a sad point of view, but there were many. You see it on my face now. There were many pictures I captured, and I keep them for the rest of my life. They were cool. Right, in a way. So, I mean, Ibiza and all these parties and the possibilities there is not just bad, the opposite. But yeah, it's now well filtered and well balanced.
wonderful, and I think that's a nice place then to leave the rock star life that brought you to
Yes.
rock bottom, as you said,
Yes.
to talk about today. So you're here in Phuket, Thailand now to train with said coaching. You're looking forward to your next Ironman. What about on the professional side? I understand you're helping also leaders and by coaching and speaking, and you have a speaking engagement coming up. Perhaps we can dig into that.
Yeah, lovely, of course, with pleasure. Yeah, this transformation, let's say, got without that I planned it, but somehow it found me, and especially young athletes relate on me very well, because actually what I noticed is that these athletes in the soccer industry, they become younger and younger and younger and get the good contracts and huge contracts in a very early stage, and they are overwhelmed, same as I was when I was 18. So they relate a lot to me, and I coach them. I help them to stay balanced, grounded, and grateful in order to keep your mind on the pitch and perform good and put all the rest what I took in a way of distractions apart and focus on what really matters. And what really matters, everyone has their own opinion, but for me it's being humbled and cultivate being gratitude and gratefulness every day for this wonderful opportunity. So that kind of became a business without really looking for it, and it makes so much fun. It is really fulfilling me. It became my passion, and a part of that, I got the possibilities to speak keynotes in Germany, German tongue region, and yeah, it makes a lots of fun.
That's excellent. So I can see that you can certainly be a role model by someone to helping those who are in that position you were then now. Even though, as we said before, perhaps some of the clubs these days will have more understanding for mental and emotional challenges and perhaps more professional help there. But apart from all of this, what does your life look like now, and what's your goals? So we have the triathlon, we have your speaking, your writing, music is part of your life. Is it something else?
No, that's enough for my energy. There's no more capacity for more. So I have a huge amount of my energy and attention goes helping athletes, staying focused, CEOs coming to me, working with me to get access to their intuition, which is for me, as if I could say in advice, try to really get as much amount of your intuition, less control, more in the present moment, especially athletes, right? They have no time to think about what they do. When you speak with big players, and I did in my career with a few, I spoke, and I mean, I was okay on the pitch. My talent was okay, but there were people, they have super technique and they make genius things. And then when I asked them, for example, Frank Ribery, I was like, Frank, what did you do that weekend again? It was like crazy how you should let goal, for example. And he said to me, Christian, I not even remember. I need to see it again in the TV because it's just happening through. And when you really look and dive deep, what is that just happening through me? For me, it's the intuition. So when we get access to our intuition without thinking of the past, of the future, just really in the present moment, we can perform and accelerate our full potential on the pitch. Or when we lead a company, when we run a company, we'll be able to make good decisions with good performance and we can accelerate our targets. So athletes and CEOs are people I'm working with, and it makes a lots of fun to bring all my experience from being an athlete and entrepreneur afterwards on the table in order to help them, not just for the business. I saying always, the business is the side effect. Once you're in your heart and centered and you have access to your intuition, all the rest will follow automatically. Yes.
Yeah, and I can see your professional discipline is with you also in your life today. Just before we're coming in into the studio today, I saw you were sitting meditating outside.
Yeah.
You're keeping your good habits with you these days?
Well, the meditation, you need to know, was, I would say, the biggest tool for my transformation. The biggest tool. Through the meditation, I found to the Buddhism, to Hinduism, the Greek philosophy, and we could make now a show for 3 hours, unscripted, because what is meditation, right? But my interpretation of meditation is like just being aware of that moment. Whatever you can do, whatever you want to do, when you do it with dedicated and with full passion. This is my interpretation of meditation. So I love to do it in silence and just on my breath with my own. So discipline is a way, of course, we try to get distracted every day. Our mind, advertising, phones, alcohol, whatever it is. I mean, in every corner there is a distraction, right? When you go out, distraction. So staying centered and grounded, and you can say then, yeah, this is discipline. Really try to remove all the distractions and come back to you. Yeah, remind yourself. And how you say it in English, like just get back to your true being and disconnect yourself from all the things you collect. So yeah, discipline is a big word, and I carry it with me. But what I'm telling you, I mean, you always drive in front of me on the bike, and I try to somehow manage to be behind, and you know what is discipline and what can it help in life.
And you have also had a discipline and vision to write the book, I understand.
Yeah.
And when is that coming out?
Yeah, my book comes out this year in September, 20th of September, From Ego to the Heart. Yeah, a couple of words what describes exactly my life. Yeah, from ego, completely lost, back to the heart and what really matters. I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah, and
I should have bring it here. Yeah, however.
And also a movie, I'm hearing.
Yes, parallel-wise, we make a documentary about my life, and it get published more or less same time as the book by end of the year, September, October. Yeah, lots of things happening.
Exciting. Yeah. So maybe your second book will be From Rock Star to Rock Bottom then?
Yeah, but there are some things on the horizon already coming up. I cannot say too much, but it looks like that's not my first and last book. Yeah.
But what is beautiful with your story, Christian, you didn't end it at rock bottom, because sadly that's where many people end it. So what we have uncovered today is your comeback. You needed those 2 years, is what I'm hearing, in silence, and to find yourself, and that calmness you have with you already. Also when you're sitting here before today, meditating before, and we've been talking about some deep, challenging and personal things today, but you come across as very humble and grounded. Is that how you feel as well?
Yeah, I feel it. I mean, the nice thing on inner work and healing, if you want to say it in that way, or reconnect to your heart, is that when you really do it in consistency and with discipline, as you said, you will face situations, life circumstances, people where you react or not even react anymore as you did before. And those few little moments when you acknowledge and see, okay, before I would have think like that, I would have react like that, and now it's changed. Oh, they are so wonderful for all the hard work, as you know, you need to put in order to reprogram your subconscious mind, because there's so much bullshit we carry on. And yeah, so I would say, yes, it get over in my DNA and I'm reprogrammed and transformed. But there's also the danger when you lean back, if you think, yeah, now everything just goes, and no, the work has to be done every day. The destruction is waiting around every corner. So yes, humbled, I would say, grateful, but also knowing that the race is still going on.
Yeah, and that's life. And we say when it comes to sobriety and recovery, it's a daily retrieve. It's something we have to work on every day. And in your life then, Christian, what is the one thing that would come in the way for you that could destroy you and set you back on the wrong path? What is the one thing you really need to look out for?
I would say it in a different way, if it's fine for you. I would not look where I put my attention on goes my energy. So I would rather put my attention and energy of the future vision of myself, how I want to see, how I want to feel, what would my life look like, which decisions I have to make now in order to reach that certain point. So those are the questions I ask myself every day. But if you would say one advice, get as conscious as possible about your thoughts and not let any unconscious thought go in between this needling which holds you back between your vision where you're here right now and you want to arrive. Nothing. Put the firewall on and put the discipline about your negative thoughts. Remove them.
I love that positive mindset and that limitless mindset indeed,
Yes.
which leads me then to the last question perhaps for today, and that is, you shared how powerful your vision was as a child to become a professional footballer. What is your vision today? What does a limitless life for Christian Lell look like in 5 or 10 years from now?
No, I see 4 more children. I see a wonderful wife. I'm really ready for it. I worked hard for being able to create that vision. Yeah, that's already. And not me, you as well. People who went through many things in life. I think we're here to inspire people to remind themselves who they truly are. And that's my main purpose in life.
You gave me goosebumps here at the end of the show.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
So thanks for that, because that's
Amazing.
clear vision.
Yes.
What I see working with high performers, most of my coaching people, they are either extremely successful and CEOs or very wealthy business owners, entrepreneurs, even a billionaire. And what I see, they all have that strong vision ahead. And I had one of them to come to me, 45 years of age, who wanted to find a serious relationship. He had all the money in the world, but had failed in all romantic relationships. But once we had a proper conversations and identified in coaching conversations what that partner should look like.
Yes.
He sent that signal out in the universe, and now he's in a relationship, and it sounds like they're on the path to get married.
Now you give me the goosebumps, because that's exactly the picture I'm visualizing since, say, a couple of months. And that's what you're saying. Once you're really ready, when you open up your heart again, then you get. And that's the discipline again. If you are you really willing to polish your vision every day, polishing it, looking at, okay, where can I? Is it blonde hairs? Is it dark hairs? Is it also business-wise? Like the last months, I accelerate exactly biohacking, longevity, mindfulness is kind of also my business part. I make a house of healing in Ibiza rather than a house of party. So things changing there as well. So and we are looking, or I'm looking now, starting for investors for that concept, but. Also here, is it private or business? As clear as possible, the vision is as as easier it will accelerate.
And thank you for the clarity there. So we're ending here on a high note, Christian, with a clarity, a picture for the future. Looking forward to meeting your future wife and children very soon.
Yes, I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Hopefully this one episode goes viral to all the ladies out there. And for the clarity then, the message to send out there, where is she from? Would you like someone back home in Germany or Ibiza? Or?
She's from Italy.
From Italy.
Yes.
Wonderful.
She's from Italy.
Excellent. Thank you so much for today, Christian Lell.
It was a
on
pleasure.
the Limitless show.
Wow, it was really mind-blowing. Thanks for having me, Nick. Pleasure.
You. Thanks to all the listeners as well, and looking forward to seeing you on the next episode.